Yes. Bonsoir tout le monde. Good evening, everybody. We have tried to reunite a small crowd on a Sunday evening. Everyone are busy. Today is a special day, and we have a special person here. We are all here to launch Consilium. It's a small initiative of AIFPRO. We have created a small career planning hub for friends, students, and teachers, and that's what we're going to launch. And we have with us a special guest, Dr. Farida Irani, Professor of French, Department of Germanic and Romance Studies from Delhi University. So she needs no introduction, as you know, you could see all the students interacting with the teacher even before the meeting could start. And but for a few of them, who are watching this event live, I would like to say a few words about Dr. Farida and a little bit about her career and why, Madam Farida is launching this event, because we wanted to invite, such a kind of person, who have achieved so much in her career. So she must have really planned her career in a meticulous way. So let me say a few words about Dr. Farida. Dr. Farida has received her PhD from University of Franche-Comté, Besançon in 1998. So very few of them have been awarded PhDs, in the 90s. So it's something which is very, very encouraging to see that. After her PhD, she returned back to India and she was teaching at Alliance Française of Delhi. And then later, she became a French lecturer at the Department of Germanic and Romance Studies in Delhi University. And she has done so many things. Let me point out a few. She has created a diploma in foreign language education in collaboration with embassies, along with her colleagues of the GRS, the Department of Germanic and Romance Studies. Then she has been the author of the famous, manual, the textbook Entre Jeunes, along with Professor Kiran Chaudhary, Professor Parasnes, and Madame Chaya. So this book was prescribed by the CBSE board. Everyone knows this. Ma'am has many casquettes. She was, and she is a formatrice, the formateur, a master trainer for various schools, universities, and for Institut Français in India. She is an author of several books published. She has published so many papers and translated a lot of stories, short stories from Gujarati to French. She is almost in many board of the studies of several universities. She's prepared curriculum for many important courses in India. And of course, she is an expert of didactic. She introduced a lot of modules in didactics and linguistics as optional papers at postgraduate level. She is still supervising a lot of dissertations, MPhil and PhD. And she has received a great honor, Chevalier des Palmes Académiques by the government of France in 2009. And Félicitations, Madame. We are really proud to invite you as the guest of honor today to launch Consilium. And without delaying the launch, before ma'am could speak a few words, I would like to give a small presentation about Consilium, what it is, because the word looks a little bit technical, or people might not figure it out. So let me explain what it is. So I'm going to give you a small presentation about Consilium. Nishta, you're able to see this?
Yes, very well.
Yes. So what is Consilium? So Consilium here, we refer to the word counseling. What we mean is like we have created a career planning hub, and this hub is for French students and teachers. And please mute your phones, please. Yeah, so Consilium is for career planning. So before I start my presentation, let me say a small saying: good luck is the result of good planning. So I basically don't believe in luck, because whatever I've achieved so far in my life, it was all because of sheer hard work and planning rather than luck. Maybe luck is maybe an additional stuff which came at the end, but always planning helped me. So Consilium, it is a place to map your professional career with a career counselor. So it's basically a meetup. It's a professional meetup to design, like your professional future. So who can benefit from Consilium? Who can access this Consilium? French students, French teachers, and French professionals. It could be IT professionals or other professionals related to the French field. So what are the objectives of Consilium? Why was it formed? Why this Consilium was formed? Basically, we felt students need to be counseled, the French students and also budding teachers, to initiate and activate their career plans. We would like to assist French students to choose the right profession and succeed in their professional journey, and also organize forums and workshops then and there to improve their skills. So these are some of the main objectives of Consilium. So how do we achieve this? First, we are going to organize a virtual one-on-one professional meetup. It means, like we will be having a meeting online on Zoom, and it's a one-on-one. It could be 40 minutes or it could be 1 hour, but it's going to be a one-on professional meetup. Why? It is to discuss, just like a father who tries to counsel his son. We would like to be there here, we would like to discuss with you your professional goals, help you, assist you. So we work in 3 phases, basically. What are the 3 phases? Assessment, investigation, and preparation. The first one is a phase of assessment. Please mute your mics, please. Thank you. So the first phase is a phase of assessment. So at the phase of assessment, what do we do is like we give you a self-assessment test where you can just try to discover, like your own plus and minus. So a self-assessment test will be done. And with the self-assessment test, what happens is like you can easily find out your strengths and weaknesses. And you can also know your skill sets. The second phase after the phase of assessment is phase of investigation. So what is the phase of investigation? We try to make you aware of the different professional options available before you. And also we try to make you explore the career opportunities. And in the way we adjust the camera, we try to adjust your professional focus. We need a better focus. So we try to adjust the professional focus. And what we try to do is like we try to set the short-term, mid-term, and long-term targets. It could be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, till you become a professor of French. Let's say if you want to become a professor, okay, to reach that rank, what do you do? We can also help you in reaching that long-term target. And after the phase of investigation, we have the phase of preparation, which is the most important phase, where we try to make you acquire and develop the required skills. You would have found out what skills you need, and we try to help you develop those skills. We try to help you to enroll in different technical courses, language and technical courses, India and abroad. It could be online or offline. We try to help you enroll in such courses. We give you, suggestions like for your career, what is the best. We try to give you the advice. And then what are the different certifications and exams which are available for students as well as for teachers. For students, it's different, and for teachers, it's different. So we try to help you. And then later, what are the different workshops which are available? We try to help you. For students, there are soft skill workshops. For teachers, it could be teacher training workshops. We just try to tell you, like what are the different workshops available. Still, a few teachers used to come and ask me the question, does if we organize any teacher training workshops. Now we have such a large network. IFE has reached almost everywhere. But still, a few teachers come and ask me the question, are there any teacher training programs? So we will be there somewhere, as an intermediary, we will try to connect all the teachers together, the teachers, the students together, and help them, make use of these workshops. We will also help the students to get, an internship in an institution. Okay, we try to do that. And we would be organizing soft skill workshops as well. And once the phase of preparation is almost over and you have acquired sufficient skills, in case if you need our help in preparing a resume, a professional resume, we can be of help to you. So to sum up, what are the key features of Consilium? We try to give you one-on-one professional appointments. We try to give you a career planning pathway sheet and explain what it is. And then we try to give you links to professional groups. And of course, a lot of workshops for career development. So these are the 4 key features of Consilium. Yeah. So the first one is a one-on-one rendezvous. So you can just contact us through the Google form. We will be giving you a Google form, a link at the end of the session. So you can register yourself for an appointment. And we will give you an appointment, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, to initially understand what are your professional goals, or in case you can also take our help to design, all those things. Once this appointment is done, after sufficient meetings, what we do is we'll try to create a career planning pathway sheet, a kind of PDF which you can just refer to now and then just move ahead in your path. So this will be a PDF file with let's say 20 or 30 pages with all indications. The third thing is, you will be introduced to professional WhatsApp groups where we will be posting a lot of information. And already there is a group called AIFPRO, which we had created for 4 zones: South Zone, North Zone, East, and West. So you can also become a member in those groups. And as I was saying, we would be organizing career workshops and events. The recent one we did in the month of December was Careers Pro, where we had roped in experts from different parts of India to talk about the different professional avenues to become a French teacher. So that was done, some 2 months back. So basically, we try to give you the skills required to reach your professional goals. So that's what we do. And how do you reach Consilium? You can simply register for Consilium through a Google form. We will give you an appointment, and you can talk with us, and we can design together your future. So as far as the membership is concerned, you can become a member. It's not an obligation. If you want, you can become a member of AIFPRO to avail these services. The services, what we offer through Consilium is free of cost, especially for the appointment part. Maybe for the other, services we offer later, we might charge. But basically, the appointment for career counseling is absolutely free of charge. We won't charge anything. And for further contact details, we have the website, the email address, and the mobile number. So you can make use of these details. Merci de votre attention. So now let me give the parole to Dr. Farida Irani.
Thank you, Dr. Arunkumar. Thank you for introducing us to your organization and to Consilium. It's a very innovative idea, something that is quite new for the Indian scene. And first and foremost, I would like to congratulate you and your team for coming up with such a wonderful idea. Well, talking to you before the event started, now I realize where the inspiration comes from. Because as you said, you are an entrepreneur. So first, so I would like to formally declare and launch this program, which is going to help students and teachers to visualize their career plan and to attain their professional objectives. So very well done, Arun. And I request everybody to please congratulate Arun, Nishka, and his team for thinking of such a beautiful program.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, sir. Felicitations.
sir.
Many congratulations.
Félicitations à vous, monsieur.
Merci tout le monde. Thanks for your words. So it's basically a teamwork, a team effort of AIFPRO, and we always wanted to give something useful for students and teachers. And when we often think about this, like something pops up like this, like something good for the society, good for the students. So thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So congratulations once again. Now, I was asked to give a little talk. And as Dr. Arun said, tell us something about yourself. So today's little interaction with you, I have titled it as Some Lessons I Learned While Moving Up the Ladder. Now, what I'm going to talk about is going to be something that you need to think along with career planning. I'm not going to tell you how to plan your career. I will leave that to Dr. Arunkumar and his team of specialists. But I would just tell you something, another side of the story. And to talk about this other side of the story, I have picked up a part of my story and a part of my student story, because I believe that your students are the best brand ambassadors that you can have. And today I'm very glad to see quite a few of them on this forum following the event. Okay, so let me begin in the 1980s. In the 1980s, early 1980s, I finished my BA in economics with the University of Pune, which is today Savitri by Phule University. And I had French as one of the subsidiary subjects. Well, a graduate of economics at that time, I did not much think. I just liked languages. I just liked language learning. It was a passion. So I was following my passion. After which, I went on to do a master's in business administration with one of the leading institutes in Pune, the Symbiosis Institute of Business Management. After getting my MBA economics, you think it's a wonderful combination. We are still in the 1980s. Now, I was playing on two of my strengths, my ability to communicate, to get my message across, and also the fact that I like working with people. So obviously, I chose marketing as my specialization. Well, when you hear it, you think all the factors are in your favor. For 5 years, I worked with the corporate world. I struggled to find my place in the corporate world. And then I realized that I was not really cut off for that type of an environment. So very early in life, I learned something. Don't be afraid to admit that you were wrong. And as a result, I dropped the corporate sector. I went back to the university, got myself an MA in French from University of Pune again. And that is how my career started. So I repeat, don't be afraid to admit your mistake and start all over again. So this is how my journey starts. Well, after my MA, I was lucky enough to get a scholarship from the French government to do my master's in foreign language education and in FLE, as we call it today, French as a foreign language. And I went to France. Well, things again, I think Dr. Arun just said, I don't believe in luck. I partially agree with you, Dr. Arun, but there are certain coincidences that just happen. And the year that I went to France for my master's at the Université de Franche-Comté Besançon, which is 600 years old. This university is 600 years old. It was the bicentennial of the French Revolution. 200 years of the French Revolution. So now you know which year I went. And as a part of the festivities, there was an exchange program between the Army Public School Delhi and the students of a lycée in the region where I lived, in Montbéliard. And since with two other Indian students who were with me, we were all doing our masters there, we helped put up in place this exchange program. So lesson number 2, seize any opportunity that comes your way, whether it's planned or unplanned. If you have something, use it. If you have learned something, use it. If there is some way you can help someone, do it. But seize an opportunity that comes your way. After finishing my master's in at the university in a year for which I had a scholarship, I soon realized that if I was to teach, if French was my passion, I had to do a PhD from France. It had to, you see, doing a PhD in French teaching in France for me had a greater value than doing the same thing in India. And in India, I had realized that most of the PhDs I had heard of so far were either in literature and a few of them were in linguistics. But didactics seemed to be an untouched domain. I was fortunate enough to be introduced to didactics by one of my professors at the University of Pune, where I did my MA dissertation. And so I decided I would stay back a year at my own cost and do my DEA before I came back to India. Now, when this idea, I already had 6 months, within 6 months of my staying in France. So from my scholarship money, I started putting a small amount every month aside so that I could finance my stay for 1 more year. This is one of the most conscious decisions that I have taken in my 25 to 30-year-old career. And I finished my DEA, returned to India with a PhD proposal, which again, I decided would be on India because that's the context I know best, did my practical work before returning to France. However, the amount that I had saved would never be enough. So when I was in France for the second year, I started looking for jobs. There were many students like me from other countries who were also looking for a job to continue their studies. Because of this helping out in the exchange program, I met school principals, I met inspector de école, etc. And they helped me to use my knowledge of teaching French as a foreign language to teach English as a foreign language in France. So you see, whatever you learn never goes to waste. One more incident. I started working with the CLA de Besançon, which is an internationally known institute. And there, I assisted a team which was preparing a sort of a project. First, it was a research project, something like Dr. Arun had said, identify the skill set. So the CLA de Besançon, the English section, the Long Vivant section, got an opportunity to train pilots and air hostesses of Air France for speaking English, for improving their English language skills. Because the skies were opening in the 90s. Remember Traité de Maastricht, etc. And somehow I got involved in this project and I went to Paris 3 times a week to help with this project. Now remember, I had done an MBA. And because of that, I was given the opportunity to teach English or to converse in English with the management cadre of Air France, who also wanted to improve their English skills. So the lesson I draw from this is nothing you learn at no matter whatever time in your life goes to waste. You will always use it in some way. And as Dr. Arun mentioned, I did put up with my colleagues the diploma in foreign language education. I think there are some students who have done this diploma from University of Delhi here today in the audience. the organization, the putting in place, all that, I had some skill. Because to get admitted to MBA, people must have seen something beyond my knowledge. So these are the initial lessons I learned. Now, I don't always want to talk about myself. I will talk about a group of students that I taught from 2016 to 2019 at the University of Delhi. They were a group of 5 boys from Kerala who came to do their BA honors in French. Just 2 weeks, just last week, I learned what each one of them was doing. And I bring this point up, especially in the context in which we are meeting here today. The boys have all got a BA honors in French. One of them is in France doing something, doing a course in business. Another is in England doing a course also in business management and working. A third is in Pondicherry doing an MBA. And a fourth, what did he do? Along with his friends who had studied with him, during the COVID situation, he opened an online language school from his hometown in Kerala. So you see, entrepreneurship doesn't need you attend a school. Entrepreneurship starts at the roots. If you are willing to invest yourself, please go ahead. Another lesson I draw from this, and which all of us must keep in mind, and which has come out in Dr. Arun's presentation, is French today, as I see it, is not a means by itself. It's a sort of an extra qualification to move further. It adds to your profile. So please be aware of your other strengths and how to bring them out with French or without French. So this is another thing that you have to keep in mind when you plan your career. Be open to how you can bring your passion or how you can bring your strengths into play. Because very often students, unfortunately, after a BA honors in French, want to do an MA honors in the hope of getting a better job opportunity. I think that Dr. Arun will agree with me, since he knows the market, that qualifications don't really count. A basic degree opens a door. After that, what you can do, how you will do it, depends on your performance. So please think. That is why I'm really excited about this program, Consilium, because it's going to make you think after your BA what? And those of the students, of my students who are here today, know very well that when they finish their BA or when they finish their MA, I tell them, now please go and work. Please don't come back. Please see what you can do. Now, this 2016 to 2019 batch, in the summer break of semester 4, they had finished 4 semesters of English. And in universities, when there was no COVID, you had at least 2.5 months of holidays after the exam. So I told the students, I said, you're going to have a long break. You've done 4 semesters of French, right? Now go out into the market and see how much this helps you. How will you get a job with 4 semesters of French? Is French going to be useful to you, and to what extent? And at least 50% of the class that summer, what you are calling an internship, Dr. Arun, did that. Some of them were paid a little sum, some of them were not paid. But that opened their eyes to the world. to see what the market was. You have to understand that once you start studying, you have to not just stay within your books. You have to see what the market is about. Another thing I always tell my students is the time for study comes at several moments in your life. University is a monolith. University will never disappear. University will always be there to help you to where you can come back to study. But do not miss the opportunity to enter the job market after your first degree. So this is just a little introduction. Now I speak about university is always there. I have two success stories to share with you. One of them is, I will not mention any names because I have not asked the people whether I could share their stories, but they're all my students. One of them is the story of a lady of a certain age who, when I returned to Delhi University after a 1.5-year stay in Hyderabad, came to me and said, I want to do a PhD in French. She was almost coming to the end of her career. She says, no, it is my dream to do a PhD in French. And I introduced her to didactics. She says, I've never heard this before. I've been teaching for so many years, but I've never heard this before. I will do it in didactics. And so she enrolled in the program. And I'm happy to say that this coming Saturday, on the 26th of February, she will get her PhD in the convocation to be held by the University of Delhi. So when you have a passion, when you have a dream, chase that dream and achieve it. For me also, when I came back, when I finished my PhD, my dream was, what does India not have? India does not have a teachers training program for teachers of French. So my PhD ended on the note of setting up a teachers training program for teachers of French. I pursued my dream. I was lucky to be in a setup, and everything just doesn't work out the way you want it to work out. I was only interested in setting up a course of teachers training for French, but I found myself in a department which had 4 other languages. So we all put our synergies together and we prepared this diploma in foreign language education. So another important lesson is, while you're pursuing your dreams, synergize, work with each other. Another story of synergy, I come back to my students from Kerala. Once they finished their BA, they were no more interested in pursuing an MA. You know what they did? 3 or 4 of them got together, they pooled their money together, and they opened a restaurant for students in the Students' Hub of Vijayanagar, serving food, specializing in food from Kerala. And last week, I went there for the first time when I learned about it. And there was never an empty table. If you want to work, the world is the limit. So please do not always restrain your vision. And I think that Consilium is going to, with its assessment of your skills, give you a wider vision of what you are really capable of. We all start off with an idea. I want to be this. But somewhere along the way, opportunities drop into your lap, or things happen by way of which you might be forced to change direction, or you get better opportunities in what you dreamt to be. So always be open to learning. For example, up to 2014, I was very busy with teachers training programs and curricula, etc. Then I got the opportunity to start working with ICT, Information Communications Technology. In 2007, I'd already gone to the Université de Compiègne for a 2-week program in ICT. It's actually an engineering university, but they have a side branch where they teach, where they train teachers to use ICT in the classroom. And then 2014 onwards, I started again recycling myself. You will say, what does a teacher's trainer have to do with recycling herself? No. In life, keep on learning till the end. The world is changing so fast. Keep yourself updated. Think of other things. Think of other things. What do I mean by that? You know, I work at the university, but after university, I have another set of friends. Friends from my old MBA, friends from school, etc. And I keep in touch. Today with WhatsApp and Skype and all, it's so easy to keep in touch. And I interact with people who have got nothing to do with French, nothing to do with teaching, who are from a different world. By interacting with them, I learn so many new things. Or there are sometimes they tell me stories which I can use as examples in my class. I see the connections. So keep your, do not be so focused that you become like a horse with blinkers. I want to do this and I only want to do this. No. Move out. Explore other domains. And finally, I would like to talk about the COVID period. The COVID period brought the best in us, best out of us, and the worst in us. But the COVID period was a learning experience. We were so used to classes offline. We were so used to interacting with each other face to face. Shifting from one medium to another took some adjustment, took building up a new skill set. Before 2020, I didn't know what Zoom was. I didn't know what a Google Classroom was, which must have been the case of most of you, with most of you. But slowly, as you were forced to go into it, you started learning, you started developing. Now, what you learn, you can learn in India, you can learn abroad. One word of caution. Whatever I learned in France, I was very happy to learn it. But you have to have that sense of distinction where you say, okay, this seems an interesting idea, which I can adapt in India. Adaptation is a key. Adaptation of knowledge, adapting to your environment, adapting your skill set. Adaptation is a key word. You may be brilliant, you may be an intellectual, but if you cannot adapt, you are sowing the seeds of not a very successful career. And so it brings me to one of the more important points, failure. Don't think that, I tend to talk about the positives, but don't think that one comes to the stage without experiencing hurdles, without experiencing failure. Well, on 2 occasions, when I applied for a job or when I applied for an upgrade, I was refused. Now there, the fault was not me. The fault was not my knowledge. But sometimes these failures are also due to external factors over which you have no control. There may be other constraints over which you have no control. So what do? You can rave, rant for a week, feel miserable, feel depressed, but afterwards you bounce back, and with renewed determination, you go back to that goal and you conquer it. And this is a lesson of waiting and determination that I learned in the last stage of my career, becoming a professor. I had to wait for 7 long years because of factors beyond my control to come in front of an interview panel and become a full-fledged professor. So sometimes good things happen to people who know how to stand and wait. A little bit of patience, a little bit of optimism will definitely go a long way. And these things, I don't think that a career counselor can really teach you. Consilium is going to help you chart a path. Today, what I'm talking about is something that will be practical, that you will have to keep in mind. The career path, even when traced in the most beautiful manner, does not exactly respond to your wishes. There are twists and turns at every point and at every corner. And last but not the least, there's only one little piece of advice I would like to give you. When you move on, when you finish your job, perhaps you retire, perhaps you resign, perhaps you quit your job, make sure that the workplace that you are quitting has improved, has become a better workplace, that you have contributed to it somehow before you part company. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm sorry I've exceeded my 10 minutes, Dr. Arun.
Yeah, no problem.
But once I got into the flow, I just went up.
No, it was very inspiring, and you have almost given the most important lessons of life. I mean, when it comes to becoming a French professor, from a student to a professor of French, like you have just given a small glimpse, like a teaser, like a movie teaser. You have just given everything, and I'm sure all the viewers, would take all those lessons and apply them in a certain way. Like ma'am was saying about the twists and turns. So like those twists and turns, actually it's that which construct us basically. So if we don't have those twists and turns, okay, first life is boring, and the second thing is like we won't be able to learn anything, and we won't be able to learn the art of adapting to situations and circumstances. Like, so I've faced many failures in my life, like a lot of failures I've faced, and like I didn't get the encouragement I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I was not allowed to, my father wanted me to study computer science basically, but I ended up taking a BA French, and I wanted to become a teacher. But like I had a career plan when I was in 12th standard itself. So I just fixed my goal, like I wanted to become a French teacher. But finally, God gave me two avenues. One is a teacher, and another is an entrepreneur. Sometimes, like it works favorably in all directions. Like when our intentions are good, everything happens, falls in place. And those twists and turns, of course, ma'am, I will make a note of it, because when we are going to do the counseling work, the career counseling work, if at all, students or teachers contact us with, some kind of problem, like a hurdle or an obstacle, we will try to be in a position to help them to come out of those hurdles as well, like maybe counsel at that moment. We should be able to do that, and thanks for that. And it was it was very inspiring, like whatever you said. I think many of the viewers here would be in they would be in a position to share their own stories. Maybe I think I have to create a separate platform where teachers could share their own success stories who are here. There are many successful French teachers here, I could see. And maybe there should be a platform where there should be a lot of videos of success stories, so that students, they can just see those videos, understand like how these people have achieved these heights in life. And Consilium is basically it was formed not to make money. Basically it was formed to help people. It was to help students, because I didn't get the kind of guidance I wanted when I was a student. So I had to, some director of Alliance Française in Chennai suddenly said, like, Arun, like, why can't you become a teacher? There was one man who asked me, not all directors go and say to all students that you can become a teacher. Like, it's not possible. And there should be someone there, like it should be either a teacher or someone a person of this French fraternity, teaching fraternity. Someone should help them to come up in life. And this career pathway sheet which we are going to develop, that's going to be surely a path breaking thing, because we would be able to elaborate a plan, as ma'am said, like it would be phased properly. And of course we would be trying to give some workshops where, in case if they face hurdles in any one of those elements, we would be there to help them. And one thing I would like to convey through this webinar is the appointments what we are going to give is, it's going to be very limited. And so we would be able to tackle only 15 appointments per month. So that is very less. We know that it's very less, but we wanted to really give the right kind of guidance, and not too many people at a time. So every month we are going to just pick only 15 appointments, 15 appointments. So we're going to choose only 15 appointments, and then the remaining the next month. But those 15 appointments, we will concentrate a lot so that they reach the success. So this is our motive. So it's not anyway connected to money making. It is to help people. It's to help the students, the French students. Bienvenue à ce projet Consilium, all for all the viewers. And thanks, ma'am, for having accepted to launch this wonderful program. And thanks to Nishta, Vice President, who's here. And thanks to all the teachers and all the French students. It's your precious Sunday evening time which we have grabbed for a moment. And thanks a lot. So we will be meeting you shortly, probably on 27th of March. We are going to launch all our Francophonie events. They are going to be launched on 27th. So we have quite a lot of interesting events which are going to be launched on 27th. So we will be shortly circulating it in our WhatsApp groups and other social media groups. We'll be circulating. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Arun.
Bonne soirée, and
Bonne soirée.
And have a nice evening, all of you. Bonne soirée.
Bonne soirée.
Bonne soirée à vous.
Merci.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Au revoir. Merci.